Good evening, everyone. It is Kimberly, and we are back in the workshop. It is Tuesday evening, and I'm trying to get you guys where you guys can kind of see what we're about to get into. So I've been working on this vintage vanity, and this is one that opens with the top, so it does open. And this has been priorly painted by somebody else. So I did clean it really well. As always, I always say to clean our pieces really well. And then after you clean your piece, I came in here and I did lightly sand this. And the reason I did so, and this drawer doesn't come out, but let me see. Maybe we can see this on. But if you look real close, maybe you can kind of, let me see if I can get this. You might can see where there has been like a run right in here. I think maybe you can see that. So those runs that were on this piece, they had to be sanded smooth so that I couldn't feel them with my finger. Remember me stating that if you can feel it with your finger, you're gonna see it with your eye. Same thing also, and there was some down in here. So the thing is, when you are painting something that's already been painted by somebody else, I don't believe it's a chalk paint. It's some other form of paint, maybe an acrylic or a latex. I'm not even sure. But I did clean it really well. And I did come in here because there was a tremendous amount of runs all over this. So I tried to sand, though, I always try to sand those back because they will show up under your paint. You will see them and it will look like you put all those runs in there. So if you don't sand that back, and I did use a little bit of 80 grit sandpaper, and then I came back in with a 220 over the top to soften that so that it takes away the scratches of your 80 grit paper because it's kind of rough. So in doing so, the piece, I did come in here and try to sand those back so that I couldn't feel them. Hopefully, you know, with a good chalk paint or if you, a self-leveling paint will help with some of that, but not the big run and drips. Somebody didn't even bother. They just slapped some paint on it. I don't know how you would get that many runs in it. Personally, maybe if you sprayed it and you would get a lot of runs possibly, I don't know. So that's what I did. And if you're new here and you've just jumped on and you're seeing us for the first time, thank you for stops in your scrolling. Thank you for jumping on with us. And these are tutorials that we try to do. They're kind of in place of our workshops right now as far as our live Bring Your Own Piece workshops. So we are doing them here via this live to kind of help those who may have never used our paint products before, to give you an idea of how they go on, how they work together, and that sort of thing. And so they're kind of definitely for a lot of times for the beginner who may have not ever experienced painting much in their time. So but in these tutorials I use Dixie Belle, I feature Dixie Belle chalk paint as well as their all-in-one silk mineral paints. So tonight I'm flip-flopping them back. So we did the dresser, which is sitting right here beside us, and I can just kind of turn you guys over and let y'all kind of see where that piece is coming from. So this is the piece that we were working on. So we did this in the Savannah Mist, and then I came in, sorry, I'm trying to get you guys good here. So I came in with the Savannah Mist and then also with the drop cloth coming in and highlighting the hardware so that it would give it kind of a shaded effect around the hardware, which you can kind of see that. And on the top is the coffee bean. I tend to use coffee bean. I love coffee bean, so to create that contrast. And as far as the top coat goes, I do have our clear coat satin on there, which is in the curing stage. It's kind of sticky because I put it on this morning. And with our weather in North Carolina, sometimes it can be tricky with your top coats. They can gum up and different things. So just really is hard when you're working with, in my situation, I'm working in a not as climate controlled as a lot of places are. So I'm working out of my garage, and when I work in my garage, the temperature is a little bit off. Well, it's a whole lot off, but tonight is great because the weather's been great today. So I just wanted to show you that and show you how that piece went, how that project went. So if you're here with me tonight, let me know that you're here because I can't really tell. I know last time we had issues with our, let's see, well, just see. So if you are here, let me know that you're here. It is 7. I think we're about to change back to our new time, a different time where we're springing forward. As that comes, when we spring forward, we'll probably back off our workshop class or workshops till 8 o'clock. We'll jump on at 8 instead of at 7. In the spring, we'll spring forward, and that'll give everybody more time because there's more daylight outside and everybody's got things they want to get done. So we'll pop on here probably about 8 o'clock, and as we turn into the new time change. In the fall, we fell back, and so it gets dark so early. We jumped on here at 7, just to kind of make it easier on those of you guys that are tuning in with us. So I am working, like I said, with the all-in-one chalk mineral paint tonight. This is in the Tide Pool. This is a beautiful color, and I am working with our oval medium, and it is kind of a round brush, as you can see. It's going to make it, it's not a lot. The top is the most flat surface we have here. We also have the bench and the mirror behind me. So this will be a good brush to just kind of maneuver all around the legs and all these areas, and being careful not to splatter on the piece beside us. So I'm going to go ahead, because the chalk mineral line is a little thicker than the all-in-one silk. The all-in-one silk is a little thinner, and I chose Tide Pool. To me, this is a just a really beachy kind of vibe, and of course I've got the nice spring kind of weather that we had today is going to make us want to paint in more of spring colors. So this is a beautiful spring color here, and it's in the Tide Pool. And I'm just going to get started and show you guys just how easy. Now, when you are working with the silk mineral line, you will want to use a dry brush. We won't be using a damp brush, only using a damp brush when we are working with our chalk mineral line. So with that said, I'm just going to plop myself down here and get started. And I'm going to lean y'all down so you can kind of see what we're doing here and get started working on this project. Actually, I might just bring it in closer, not necessarily on me, because yeah, I've been working all day and just got done with dinner. Just had some lasagna tonight. And so this is, I just kind of load my brush up. That's what I have on it. Our all-in-one chalk mineral paint, our silk line is a little bit different than our chalk line. It's much thinner. In fact, I might move this down a little bit. So it's much thinner, and I already see a little line from someone else's painting that I missed, and it's showing up, which I figured they would. Every little imperfection with someone else's already painting is going to show up on your piece, because if you didn't get it sanded well enough, it will show. So I'm just going to start painting on this so you guys can kind of see this beautiful color. This is definitely a very beachy color to me. Hopefully y'all can see that. Now our in this line, these all-in-one silk line, your colors are going to dry a bit darker. So just kind of let you know. So this color will be a little darker than the chalk line. So it'll dry a little darker, whereas our chalk line tends to draw a little lighter. So there's the difference in the two. So I'm just going to come in here and bump this color on. I do have my heater running, however, in the background, just to kind of take the moisture out of the air, because it has been closed in. So I'm just painting on this lovely shade. And I do paint over my hardware, and I didn't really care for this hardware on this piece to begin with, but it might look okay when I paint it. And I just splattered, so it is a lot thinner, so just to kind of keep you aware of that when you are working your paint. That's why I say you don't want to necessarily over there be splattering on your other pieces. Roll that in. So you can kind of see how that's going on. And I am actually going to jump up and grab my baby wipes. Forgot to bring my baby wipes in. And I did do the seat as well. I did already reupholster the seat on this. I never get paint on me, but tonight I got paint on me, y'all. So if it's fresh and it's wet and you just maybe got it on you, that's where an apron comes in handy. Is a baby wipe is good. Baby wipes are good at removing any paint that you might have got on you, so can use them as you go along. Try to get that off. I always try to get if I get paint on me, I try to get it off right away, especially our chalk line, because once you get it in there, you're going to have it on you once you get it. So this, let me grab this real quick and grab my paint. So this is going to go a long way. I got a 16-ounce jar here, and I'm thinking these lines might going to show, but I might have got them thin enough that we can not see them. So I'm just going to kind of come in here. We'll see when it dries. This is the first coat. So I am using the Tide Pool right now over this white. I don't know. I know a lot of people like to paint white. I like to use color. I don't know why, but I do. And since it was such a beautiful day today, I thought, it'll be kind of nice to paint in some beachy color. So that's what I'm going to do. I think I'm going to raise this so that, so I got paint up under here. I was thinking I would do this up underneath and just leave it white inside, because that'll make it kind of brighter when I go to paint the inside. So I was thinking I would like to leave that in that color. So that's all. I'm just going to come in here and get some of this Tide Pool on. It's so pretty. Never am disappointed with any Dixie Belle color I use. Sometimes it's nice to just use something a little bit different because you get tired of painting the same old colors. And in the springtime, I like to use the yellows. I've been known to do the orange. So in the spring, some of my favorite colors are going to come through on some of my work, obviously, because those are the colors I like to use. So kind of just whatever tickles your fancy, the colors that you like. So if you're here, let me know so I can say hello to you and welcome you. And we are just painting this cute little vanity and its mirror and stool to just kind of give it a little extra bit of life. You can see the total difference between the white and then this lovely sea color. And I'm gonna just really like the Tide Pool. Is so pretty. And I am going over this white. I don't know whose it was, but I did clean it really well, or what kind of paint it is. Cleaned it really well. And I did scuff sand it because, you know, I want the paint to stick, obviously. So I did scuff sand it, and I used a little bit more sanding pressure and paper because of the fact this is a piece that had already been painted and had some runs on it. And that, what I mean by runs is when your paint sags, I guess is the best way to put it. And when you have those sag lines, it shows up. And so it may show up on your piece. If you have a piece that has been painted in that fashion, it may show through if you don't get that prep in. So you always want to prep, always want to clean your piece, lightly sand it. In this case, I did a little bit more because I didn't want someone else's paint job to kind of mess this paint job up, if that makes sense. So you do kind of want to pay attention to see if there are any of those imperfections in the paint that was already underneath there. That will save you from having to come back and re-sand the whole thing and do it over. So as you can see, this is just one coat, and this is the Tide Pool in the all-in-one silk mineral line as well. This is what we're doing here. Let me move some things out of my way, and I'll bring y'all over and just show you just how quick and easy it is. You can see I have barely touched the surface of this can of paint. So this can of paint is going to paint several projects. It's not just going to do one. You're going to get by painting several pieces. And depending on if you're going to do multiple coats, in this case I'll probably do 2 coats. We'll see as I progress along how well. I mean, it's obviously covering really, really well. You can see the coverage there and the color. So I'm just bringing it in and gliding. You can see how easy this paint goes on. It just slides right on. It's like butter. In my opinion, I think it just is so smooth. Of course, I'm never disappointed. Every time I use, like I say, a Dixie Belle product, I remember why I use Dixie Belle paint products. Every single time. There's no guess as to why I'm using their products, because they are amazing products. Let me pull this out and get the top as well. Make sure that I got this other side. That way I did get it painted up on the top and all around, as you can see. It's so pretty. Isn't that such a pretty? You could even do the contrast with the white on the top if you like that. And I may use one of our whites in the, you can mix and match. You could put your chalk paint on the top here and then your silk line on the bottom if you wanted to. It just really is a preference of yours. However, and whichever way you like it, you can intermingle them that way, where you're doing one on the top and then one on the bottom. And this would look really kind of cute with the two-tone, and it would really give it a different kind of look. And I may do that. I may go ahead and keep the top in the white and then do the bottom in the Tide Pool, but we'll see as we go along, as always. And this piece, because I'm going to spin her around, because of the way this piece is made, I'm going to be painting all the way around this piece. So I'll move you back so you guys can kind of see where we're going with that. I'm going to come in here and I'm going to get the back side of this leg. So this is the Tide Pool. This is the all-new, all-in-one silk mineral line by Dixie Belle Chalk Paint, or Dixie Belle Paint Company. Guess we can't just define it as chalk paint now, but the Dixie Belle Chalk Mineral Paint, as well as their all-in-one silk line. And you can see it's dreamy, creamy smooth. It just flows right on the piece Yeah, the more I think about it, the more I think, I may leave the top that way because I'm kind of liking that two-tone look. And maybe some clients would like that. And so I'm just coming back in here, cleaning up my lines. And now I am going to go down this leg here, point y'all down so you can kind of see. So this piece obviously has to be painted all the way around. This is coat number 1. And it's so easy to use. And I'm just going right over this. Again, just to recap, this has been cleaned first with the Dixie Belle White Lightning Cleaner, and also it has been sanded with, now I did use a little bit more sanding on this than most people would have to, just simply because I was trying to sand out other, not my imperfections, but this had been painted before prior. So yes, I'm trying to, was trying to sand the already lines that were already in it. And I'm spinning this around because this back was painted already. So I'm just gonna follow along. Since it was painted in the past on the back, I'm gonna paint it now in the future in the back, just because that way everything is all new again. So I'm using the oval medium, Dixie Belle's oval medium synthetic brush. I am using a synthetic brush, however, with this line of paint, and not the China bristle brush or the natural bristle brush. Natural bristle brush is fine for your chalk line, but in our silk mineral line, you'll want to use your synthetic. It's much smoother. It's a silkier, less likely to show brush strokes when you use a synthetic brush. So it works a little bit better for this line of paint because this paint's a little thinner. So there will be your difference with your brushes. You'll want a nice synthetic brush with that. And we do offer those at our locations as well. Silk brushes. And see, so that's how it's going on. It's really, 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 really easy. Again, I'm just coming in here and painting over an already paint that was on here. Like I say, I think I'm going to keep the inside of this the white. In fact, now that I started painting this, I kind of like that contrast, where the top is white and the rest of it is in this beautiful tide pool color. Now I would love to paint. Don't think that you wouldn't catch me painting a room in this color, cause how beachy is this color? I mean, just it screams beach to me. So this color will be used. This will be used indoors as well on a not just on furniture, but you can also. And I know I've showed this to you guys before, and have talked to you a little bit about it with our chalk mineral line. But you can use Dixie Belle's paint products on other things besides furniture. You guys know I've painted a chicken house with it. Now I did do that in the chalk line, but this would definitely be a perfect, since it has your blocker in it. It's got your stain blocker in it, so it's got kind of like your you're not having to worry about having it bleed through. On this piece, that wouldn't be an issue, but it also creates that primer effect too, as well as having your finished coat in it. So this is really your all-in-one. So if I was painting in a house, I would have my top, like if I was doing my walls, I would clean them, I would sand them lightly, and just kind of prep them and get them ready, and then come in with this, and you've got your what do I want to say? Spit it out, Kim. Just spit it out. So you got your primer and you've got your top coat, your all-in-one, your all-inclusive, everything right here. And when you're done, you're done. You know, you don't have to go back and do any extra stuff to it because it's all built right in, and that's a real plus. So this would be a beautiful in a beach, like in a beach condo, and you might have done like a wall that you do in color, a statement wall or something like that. To me, that would be beautiful. So again, if you're here, say hello. Thank you for jumping on. I don't see any comments, but it's hard for me to see comments until obviously after the live. So I hate that because I really like to interact with you guys since I can't interact physically until this COVID lifts up a little bit. I'd love to bring back our workshops. You guys just let me know. If you feel confident in coming out and bringing your own piece and maybe wanting to experience this silk for yourself, just message me. I will try to, you know, work with you guys on that. We can just, you know, down our mask, get everything kind of prepped and ready, and come in, and we'll get going again on those workshops. I'm fine with it, but I want everyone else to be comfortable with where they're at as far as not feeling threatened by coming in around other people and that sort of thing. Sorry for the noise, guys. I'm just trying to spin her around so that we can get to it on the side there so you guys can see. I'm trying to move it around there so I can get you guys spin her all the way around. Like I said, I think I'm really liking the two-tone look here, so I may want to keep it that way. So I'm going to just come right on in here using the oval medium. This is a synthetic brush. It is a Dixie Belle brush. A synthetic brush will work. If you happen to have one in your line of brushes, you're good to go. So I am just going to show you just however long we've been on this live, just about how quick it is that you could grab that nightstand that's sitting in your bedroom that you've been wanting to paint or you've been wanting to upscale. You just grab it and give her a good cleaning, lightly scuff sand it. I'm not saying you got to sand down to the bare wood, you just sand it a little bit. Just give your product something to adhere to. That's all the sanding is doing. It's giving a base, something to grab onto. Paint needs something to grab onto. So if you've got a super slick piece of Formica or something of that nature and you want to paint it, grab you some slick stick first, get you some slick stick on, let it dry overnight. It's what I always tell everybody, let it dry overnight. And then the next day you can come in and paint it and it will be just fine. Countertops is what I'm getting at the most. If you've got really slick surface of a countertop, say you got some old countertops and you're doing a flip maybe or something of that nature, you can easily redo your countertops and make them look like marble with paint. Just get you a sponge, get you a couple of different colors, get your slick stick down, let it dry, and then take you 2 or 3 colors and just kind of, and we may do that, and I'll show you guys. You can just get a sponge and you can just kind of walk your colors around. And then when you're done, I always put a top coat on it. I put my clear coat satin on first, and then your gator hide. Several multi-layers of gator hide, and you will be good to go on your countertops. So it's really, really, really not hard at all. And I'm going to go ahead and spin her on around. Being careful because now she is wet all the way around. And see that difference there? So there you can see the top. I don't know, I kind of like that white contrast. You guys tell me. I think you like that contrast with the white on the top. I might leave it like that, and I'm gonna come in here. I do have some salt water in the, you could use cotton. You could use, if you wanted to use the chalk mineral line, you could use cotton, or you could come in here with the salt water. I think I even have the salt water in the other room, where you could come in and put the Tide pool and the salt water together. Where you see these dry marks and everything, you can kind of see where it's dry and where it's still wet. That's what you're seeing. It's kind of in that drying process. So there you have it. In the length of time that we have been on here, I see a little spot down here at the bottom. We have pretty much completed this little vanity in that length of time. That's about how long it takes. So if you joined me tonight here, I thank you so much for jumping on with me, and shoot us a message if you're interested in getting in with us on doing some workshops again. I can't wait to get those started, but we do want you guys to feel safe in doing so. So I am going to let you guys go, and I'm going to continue working on these other pieces and trying to determine whether I want to leave them white or just do the Tide pool. And you guys will see this project on the other side. We'll be here Thursday evening, and let me just grab. So this is the seat cover that we're going to be putting up against this Tide pool, so you guys can be able to see why I chose this color. So let me just bring the little bench over, see, because it has a little bench here. And I will be putting this back on, and this will be the look of this piece once completed. So now I'll have to make that hard decision on painting, either painting the top and leaving it, or and I also have the mirror over here, just painting the whole thing all one color and being done with it. If you have a suggestion out there way you'd like to see it done, just let me know. I'd love to hear from y'all. Until the next, until Thursday, we will let you all go. Hope you have a blessed evening, and we will see you then. Have a good night, everyone. Thanks for viewing. Bye-bye.